Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friends? How are you, my friends? Oh my gosh, we got a good one today. Today is Friday. That's right. Today is Friday, July 10th, 2020. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time, it'll ever be Friday, July 10th, 2020. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most of this absolutely incredible day. Fair enough. Dude, today I got an extra special guest for you. My man, David Francisco. David has been like on the Ellen show. We're talking about a guy that's been on American Idol, and now he has finally climbed his way all the way to the top where he gets to spend time with us at 5:30 a.m. here on hashtag Rise and Grind. And listen, this week, we've been talking all week, right, about like making a choice, a decision right here, right now. Like this is your golden years. No matter where you're at age-wise, we're kind of all at this halfway point in our lives, halfway point in this season in 2020, right? And it's about making the choice. And we talked on Monday about like the 5 things you must do to gain some momentum going forward. Then we talked about the 3 crucial elements you need to max out to make sure that you max out your golden years. And we also talked about the 3 powerful questions you should be asking yourself every day, including the question, can you do what you do today forever with joy? So it's been a deep, like thought-provoking week, and my friend David Francisco is about to take it like to a whole another level. You see, David was hit by a car, told he would never walk again, and has since walked on some of the biggest stages on the planet. So let's meet my friend David Francisco, and the best way I think we should meet him is Rise and Grind style. So let's dance. Yes, sir. For the first time ever, we got live music this morning as we dance here on hashtag Rise and Grind. Hey, for those of you that know, and those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right. I need you to hit that share button because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. Sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. It's also the part of the show where I'm going to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up. I'll say what's up back. I love this, David. This is awesome. What a great idea. Good morning, John Coltonborn. How you doing, Mike Higdon? Don Sankey's up in here. Mr. Bruce Pulver is in here this morning. Whitney Wells, Mike Stevens, Brad Smith is in the house. How you doing, Tracy Shepard? Great to see you. Miss Whitney Wells. Oh, I already said Whitney. Whitney, you got it twice today. How you doing, Jeff Baker, Gail Beaker, Jenny Lockett, John Paul Gidries up in here this morning. Rick Tamburino, Kim Fair, Vicky Everett, Terry LaPierre, Susan Rose. Oh my goodness, it's packed up in here on hashtag Rise and Grind. I love it. Jenny Lockett, David, my man, dude. How are you this morning, brother?
I am good. I was waiting for you to cut me off. I could play all morning.
You can play all morning, huh?
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, I am tired. I won't lie, but I'm excited to be here.
Dude, we're super excited to have you, man. This is David Francisco. David is just an incredible superhuman. He's doing big things, right? He's obviously clearly a musician, and David has a really powerful story where life really, like, literally blindsided him, and some changes had to be made, and we're going to dive into that here in just a second. But David, I would like to know something. There was one thing I couldn't find as I was learning more about your story. I was digging around online. I'm listening to your beautiful music and all of those different things. I didn't really get a chance to learn about David before your accident. So who was David Francisco prior to your accident? And then we'll get into that and the direction that's taken you in life.
Great. Yeah. So before the accident, which I actually call a crash,
Okay.
I'll talk about that later.
All right.
Before the crash, I was a 24-year-old young man, just graduated college with an electrical engineering degree. And I was about to get an engineering job and really had this first big choice in my life of, am I going to do engineering or am I going to do music? And I chose to do music, ended up going to an audio engineering school in Nashville called the Blackbird Academy. And 3 weeks into classes is when I was biking and everything happened. So I was, just backstory wise, just a young guy trying to make it in the music industry, the music production side, so recording music.
Gotcha. So you're a young guy. You got these big dreams. You moved to Nashville, Tennessee. You're gonna be an audio engineer. You're gonna do all of those things, and then let's talk about the crash, not the accident. Let's talk about the crash.
The crash. So, again, 3 weeks into class, I'm biking home. I got an apartment that was biking distance from the studio because I thought it'd be awesome to I'm gonna bike to class, I'm gonna bike home,
Sure.
bike to the park, and bring my dog with me. And so I'm biking home, and I get to the last intersection. The light's red, so we stop, and I'm beside the car in the front. Think there was actually, the bike lane was the lane, but I was just beside the car in the front. Light turns green. We start going across. The SUV beside me slams on their brakes, and I just keep going, not seeing the car and the reason they were stopping. That T-boned me at about 35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I've heard from some of the witnesses that I've actually kept in touch with that my body went about 10 feet in the air,
Yeesh.
100 feet down the road, like pretty serious hit. My bike flew over the car. We still have the bike and the helmet that I was, thank God, wearing, which saved my life for sure. And it definitely brain injury stuff. I wouldn't be able to talk to you today, I don't think, had I not been wearing that helmet. So I don't really remember anything from the crash, which is one of the weirdest parts. Is I was just, I guess, lying in a bed when I woke up. But apparently I had been bleeding out on the road. I've got a scar here from the windshield.
Wow.
Grind. There it is.
Yeah.
And then the line we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I woke up in the hospital, like, what happened? What's going on? And one of the first things I thought was, why can't I feel my legs? Or why are they off the bed? And then I look down and they're on the bed, and I'm like, wait, why don't I feel them on the bed?
Yeah.
Now, the first moment I realized something really serious was going on.
Yeah. So let's dive into that moment for just a second, like longer. So what is the next thought, right? You're like, oh my gosh, why aren't my legs on the bed? Then you're like, wait, they are on the bed. I don't feel them. And then where, like, I can't even imagine, like, where does your head go at that point?
Well, yeah, so I can't feel them, and then I tried moving them, and they don't move. And so, what is this going to mean for my life? I don't even know if I got to that point immediately.
Yeah.
Because I was in so much pain, at least in my back and in my upper body, that I had no way of processing it. I don't know, maybe some people can process it all at once, but really it took me months to process, what is this going to mean for my life, to think of all the implications of, can I have a family? Am I going to be in a wheelchair forever? That kind of thing was really over the next month that I grieved all of the losses that I was now experiencing and, as far as I knew, going to live with forever. They told me, you've had a complete spinal cord injury. Neurological recovery is unlikely. Right. Which basically means your spine's broken, which is why you can't communicate with your legs and why they can't communicate feeling with you, and you'll never walk again. Wow. Best case is metal braces on your legs. So that was my prognosis after the surgery that they did, where they put 8 screws and 2 rods right into my back, which are still there to this day.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was dark, definitely a dark time.
Yeah, I bet, man. There was one of your videos that I watched, and you were just like, and I could just like, I'm an empath, man. So like, I absorb things, and as you're talking, you're like, I could just imagine this young kid, big dreams, hopes, aspirations. All of a sudden, life kind of blindsides you. There's the crash. Now you're being told you can't like walk, and you mentioned, the tears, like just tears every day for months, right? Like sad and reaching a dark state, and I could feel that. I can understand how that would feel. So fast forward a few months, you see like your foot move, right? You see your
Yep.
foot move, and now all of a sudden you're like, whoa, whoa, right? A little re-energized. Like, oh, wait a minute, there's something
Yeah.
here. And now from there, you had to relearn everything, like
Mhm.
literally everything, right? You had to relearn. You have to relearn how to walk. You have to relearn the coordination. You have to relearn
It,
everything.
it's funny because when you're learning to walk again, it's kind of like a baby. First you crawl, and then you start kind of going on your feet with assistance and just standing, and
Yeah.
then you start walking. Um, and so I kind of went through that process twice in my life.
Yeah. You're an overachiever. You've done it twice now. That's but yeah, so you've got to relearn everything. I guess so let me ask you this, as you're going through that, were you ever like mentally, even though you were maybe making some progress physically, did you ever like get mentally defeated thinking of how much further like you still had to go? You know what I mean?
Mm. So I think the strongest thing that I did in that time was choosing to just turn off the long term thoughts.
Mm,
I'm not, as much as I can. Obviously, I had to think about, okay, I'm never going to walk again, wheelchair life, etc. But honestly, I turned off once I saw the foot move. It was like, okay, if there's the only thing they know of that can help with people's recovery is if they work on their legs. They
right,
literally just think about moving their legs,
right,
even if they don't move.
right.
So I was like, I'm not going to let anything from on my end stop me from recovering. So I was more motivated than I have ever been in my life.
Yeah.
Worked. We moved actually. My parents basically lived with me and took care of me again at that point, and we moved to Atlanta to a place called the Shepherd Center, and I spent every day at least 2 or 3 hours of a day working out or trying to move my legs
Yeah.
in therapy, getting back to life. And that was, I don't know where I'd be had I not done that, but I'd rather not know, to be honest, just because that's when I saw a ton of recovery come back. I
Sure.
mean, again, they said I would never walk again, but I got this foot moving, and then I got this foot moving, and I wasn't like, oh great, I'm gonna walk soon. No, I mean, you need almost every muscle in your legs to be able to walk,
Sure.
but it was the next step, no pun intended. um, and
All right.
it was definitely something. So yeah,
That's
focus on today.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love that, and I think that that's powerful. Those of you listening that are watching, that are tuning in this morning, if you just hopped in, this is my man David Francisco. He's an incredible human being. Was hit by a car and was told he would never walk again. Since then, the man has not just walked, but he's done some amazing things in his life. He's been on American Idol, he's been on Ellen, and he also married this like beautiful, amazing, tremendous, full of light woman right here, who you can tell his face lights up every time I show that picture. So do me a favor. The best thing that we can do here on hashtag Rise and Grind, whenever we have someone that joins us on the show, the best thing we can do, the best way to honor them, is to just push this out as far and wide as we possibly can. Share out the show, and also make sure to support and follow David Francisco, my man. You can go to davidfranciscomusic.com where you can support and follow him over there. But for those of you that are listening and watching right now, I want you to make sure you don't miss what David just said, right? He wasn't thinking about how long it was going to take. He wasn't thinking about all of the steps that it were going to take, on this journey. He was just focused on today, right? Just today, just get the 1 foot. That's what we're working on today, right? And I think that is a tribute and a story to the mindset that we all need to have when it comes to chasing our dreams, becoming the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be, all of those things. I think that it's really important that we stay present and just chase that next step. What is that next step for you? I think that's super, super powerful. So we've been discussing this week, creating a new joy-filled life, right? I've been challenging the people that have been listening, are you really doing the thing that you want to be doing? And are you doing it in a way that is creating a solid foundation for your future and ultimately having a joy-filled identity? So how was that transition for you, going from tears every day to now you do seem to carry a joy and a light about you? I mean, even I read that right after the accident, instant forgiveness for the person that hit you. You walk with light, which people see. Obviously, they're attracted to it. That's why you're ending up, I see you jamming jam sessions with Katy Perry and all these other things. So how was that transition for you, moving from kind of oh, I lost him. No. That's not good. Well, the good news is this is recording as well as streaming live. So as soon as I can get David back in here, which is going to be weird, I might have to shut down the whole stream, because this happened to me once before and they weren't able to come back in to the stream until I started it over. But hopefully that's not the case. Let's see. Copy the session URL. Shoot. Man, incredible guest. I might have to kill the stream, and if I do, I apologize. But we're going to try to get him back in here. But seriously, man, think about it. Imagine where you would be in your life. Something like this, happens, right? He was on such a high, going to a new school, going to chase his music, going to do his thing. And then all of a sudden, boom, wipes out, paralyzed, told he can't walk, right? Pretty crazy story, I am gone. I can't hear you, see you, or see you move. Let's see. He's trying to text me. We'll figure this out. I apologize. That's part of live, man. That's part of live. It's just part of what happens. He's apologizing. It's not your fault, my man. It's all good. Yeah, if he can't, I might just have to kill the let's see if I disconnect and then okay, he says he's logging back in. Okay, logging back in. Sorry for the delay. Hi, hope you're having an incredible morning. I do, and I hope you're enjoying today's show with David. Unable to connect to the session. Okay. All right, hang tight. We'll create new one, and hopefully that will work. So I'm going to disconnect. I'm going to start a new session. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to click OK. You guys are behind the scenes this morning on hashtag Rise and Grind. We've got David Francisco. This guy has been on Ellen. He has been on American Idol. He has an incredible story of just an incredible comeback story, all of those things. And now he's made it to the top. He's up here on hashtag Rise and Grind, the number one most watched morning show in the world. And I hope that you are enjoying hearing his story. And we're going to learn more about him as soon as he gets back in here. He's just an amazing dude, man. It's amazing how he's turned his tragedy into triumph, right? Isn't it crazy how God can do that? He can turn our tragedies into triumphs. I love that. I love how, he had this passion. What's up, David? We were just talking about you. He's had this passion. I just love how he's had this absolute passion for music. And here he is. He's out there chasing his dreams. And it maybe didn't happen the way that he thought it was going to happen, but yet, it pretty much happened. Like, this dude's doing some big things. David, welcome back. I don't really know what happened there, but
yeah,
it's okay. The good news is, it's live. We also recorded on the backside, and it's wonderful. Everybody has stayed and hung tight because they really enjoy listening to your story. So,
awesome.
yeah, it's awesome, man. Super, super cool. So, that transition for you, we were talking about that transition going from a depressed, kind of saddened, lots of tears state. Yes, we see a little glimmer of hope, but I'm assuming mentally the transition to being so light-filled and joy-filled as you are now had to be a bit challenging. So talk to me about that. How did you keep the mind focused on the positives?
Honestly, in the beginning, it was the people around me.
Yeah, beautiful.
My family. I had over 100 visitors in the hospital the first week.
Wow.
I don't know if my attitude would have been the same without that. It was so important, and so I can't take all the credit myself.
Sure.
Honestly.
Sure.
So supportive, love, and family, and I just. Like I said, when the movement started happening, I just started focusing all my energy on, let's go towards that. Let's rise and grind towards recovery, because that's what I needed at the time. And so I guess then just more and more crazy things started happening. Like you said, all of a sudden I got invited to California for this award show called the Pensado Awards. I go out to California, and I reconnect with this girl who had, done a campaign Dance for David video on Facebook and written me a letter in the hospital, who I had only met one time before that.
That's amazing.
And so, there's a whole story behind Christy and I's relationship.
Let's talk about we got to talk about Christy right here. So this is Christy. You guys had met just briefly right before the accident. Then she finds out you have the accident. She sends you a letter. She starts to write you. You guys connect. Now you're stinking married, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool,
been married
man.
for 2 years.
And you take her everywhere you go, don't you?
Yeah, she's still sleeping. not on the couch downstairs. But yeah, so man, it just depends on what you want to know, but we met one time before the crash and reconnected, like I said, when I came out to California after the crash. She had heard about it from the mutual friend that connected us and was like more devastated than a normal acquaintance should be. Yeah, sure. I guess like cried tears over what happened, and ended up writing that letter in the hospital. And I got that letter, and it was so powerful. It was one of probably the best letter I got of all of them, and that's friends and family and everything. It's just she was able to relate and not just like try to give me the solution, because there was no solution. My legs just weren't going to work,
right?
But still be encouraging in her own way. So we still have the letter. We reconnected, and I was in a wheelchair when I came out to California still, barely any movement, but I could move one of my feet. And actually, no, I could kind of hobble in a walker for like 50 feet. No, maybe like 10 feet. And she didn't seem fazed at all by the fact that I was in a wheelchair. We just caught up like old friends. I wasn't trying to make a move, obviously. I mean, I was still feeling like I didn't want to put anyone in a situation where they had to
Sure.
take
Sure.
care of all of my extra needs,
Sure.
because just, daily living was a lot more intense, and I was so limited that I kind of put that on myself. She never put that on me, though.
Yeah.
And so a month later, we were going to this music festival. And long story short, we invited her. My dad actually invited her with me and him to this music festival in San Diego the next month. And she decided to come. And that was our first kind of date, if you will.
Right.
It's where she would like push me around in the wheelchair, and we danced, and we would do we would stand up, and I'd have to hold on to her and my dad to stay up.
Sure.
So we called that the all-day hug, because my dad would peace out, and then she would be the only one there, and she had to hold me up.
Oh man, I love it, dude.
Yeah. So long story short, that's kind of where we started dating, and it escalated quickly. I mean, once that trip happened, once the next trip happened, I was like, that's my wife for sure.
That's it.
She's amazing.
That's awesome, dude. Like, there's a couple things in there I want to make sure that you guys didn't miss. A huge part of recovery for my man David, and the inspiration behind him was just his circle, right? Just surrounded by the right people. It's super, super crucially important. I can't talk to you guys enough about this. Like, getting around the people that are going to help move you forward is so incredibly important, and sometimes overlooked. So I think that's huge. The second key thing that I don't want you to miss. So we talk on this show about sending out an encouraging message, right? Every day, as part of we have 5 simple steps to an extraordinary life. It's things that we do in the morning. And step 5 is to send out an encouraging message, because you have no idea the impact that's going to have on somebody's life. You got a letter. My man David gets a letter, right? And this letter is powerful, and it's motivating, and it's inspiring, and it helps be the catalyst to where he's gone today. So okay, music, Knoxville, excited, car crash, oh my gosh, flip the script, foot's moving, meet a girl, now we're moving, now we're working, we're back in the next direction, and then boom, you're like on American Idol, playing music, making it through the rounds, hanging with Katy Perry. You're on like Ellen DeGeneres, and now you're on the great show of #Rise and Grind. I keep kidding about that because Ellen is like my idol. So you've been, like, holy smokes, dude, where did all that come from?
Yeah. Oh man. What's funny is things just kind of didn't feel real for a long time. Both the good and the bad. I experienced, like, in the same day, I would experience amazing highs and just the lowest lows. Like, I would get an email about, hey, we would like you to try out for American Idol. And then I also, like, have an accident that day, like a bladder accident. And
Sure.
so it was it still is a weird season. Like,
Yeah.
the season of life, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll actually be honest. I almost didn't do American Idol. I was like, I don't know if this is going to be worth going up to, because I had already moved to California when I auditioned.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to be worth, like, driving up there and trying the thing and doing it all, but I did, and I'm so thankful I did.
How did you push through that, man? How did you push through that doubt?
I guess it's really important to just not miss an opportunity, or to assume what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah,
because
I like that. Yeah,
you just never know.
yeah,
You
yeah.
just never know.
I like that. Never assume the outcome. I think that's strong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So keep going. So you go, you make it to American Idol, and you're playing your thing, and they love you. 3 yeses.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, because most of the time you have stages before the judges audition.
Sure.
But I only had the one stage where I went to the producers, and they gave me the pre-golden ticket, golden slip
Yeah,
paper
sure.
that was like, we'd like you to try out for the judges.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, I ended up going in there. Christy came in to the audition last minute with me, to the judges audition.
Right.
And that was cool because they got to see our dynamic, and that's what made Katy Perry cry in the long run, was just seeing how much she loved me
Yeah.
and hearing my story and everything. It was really, really powerful, and they were amazing people. I mean, still are, obviously.
Yeah,
But
sure.
really amazing experience to be on the show.
Super cool. And then all of a sudden you just get like a phone call from Ellen one day or what? They're like, hey, what's up, David?
An
This is
email
Ellen.
from the producers of Ellen, and I mean, you get spam email, you get random stuff, but that one, we looked at it and it's like, hey, this is blah 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 from the Ellen DeGeneres show, and I'm like, I think this is real.
Right.
People spend their entire lives submitting to be on that show, and all of a sudden I've got this email from the producers, like, what? So literally, get this. We've been talking to this producer. She's not sure she can get us on the show, but she's trying. And we get married because, like, literally it was 7 months of long distance dating. I proposed, and then 7 months after that, we were married.
Gotcha.
Like, crazy quick.
Fast.
And we're touching down from our honeymoon. The plane touches down. I get service. And first thing I get is a call from my dad, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, why is he calling right now? Like, just give us a little space."
Right.
But I answer, and it's the producer's voice on the phone saying, "Hey, guess what? You're gonna be on the Ellen show." So like,
Wow.
I've just gotten back from my honeymoon, and now I'm finding out we're gonna be on the Ellen show in the middle of this airplane where we can't freak out because it's like other people are around and it's confidential, and
Sure.
but it was an amazing time, and so exciting.
Yeah, super cool, man. Super
Yeah.
cool. All right, we're gonna do a couple things. This is a morning show, and I like to respect people's morning routines because I'm a big fan of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let some of the audience go. If you need to go, if you've got to stay on routine, if you got to go do your thing, I totally get it. I'm going to stay here with David for just a couple more minutes. I'm going to ask him a couple more questions. But before you head out, I do want to make sure that you know about Lionheart. So Lionheart is a book. Lionheart is a CD. Lionheart is a movement that aims to empower people to find purpose. Can you tell them, before those that need to hop out, before they hop out of here, can you tell them just a little bit about that, David?
Funny you mention. I actually wrote a book. Another thing that I just never thought I was going to do. And it's been so amazing to see this get into people's hands and to hear their responses to it, because I just started writing in Google Docs one day the story of what happened, and yeah, it's here now, and it's out, and to see the responses that people have been like, I want to give this to my son because I think it'll really encourage them, or I want to give this to my friend at work, or I want to give this to my uncle. Like, that's been amazing because in it, and I'll also explain, each chapter is a song. So I wrote an album called Lionheart, as well as the book called Lionheart, and they go together hand in hand. And actually, I think one of the coolest ways to listen to it for you audiobook people out there is on Audible. I just recorded it, my own voice and everything. So what you do is you read the chapter, and then at the end of the chapter, in the book, it's got the lyrics of the song, but on the audiobook, it's got the actual song. So I think it's a really cool.
That is cool.
This one was a really short song, but those are the lyrics. You get the actual song in the audiobook.
Dude, I love that, man. That's awesome. Mixing it up. Someone had just asked if they could get if they could get the audible right when you said that. So
Yep.
that's perfect, dude. Okay, love it. We're gonna talk more about that. For those of you that have to go, if you haven't done so already, hit that share button. We got to share David Francisco out. You also need to follow him and do me a huge favor. Send him an encouraging message today, right? Blow him up. Show him what we do here on hashtag Rise and Grind. Go out there, have an amazing, powerful, incredible day. Now, for those of you that are staying, we're just going to dive in just a little bit more. David, can I steal just a few more minutes of your time? Are you okay with that?
Of course.
He says, of course. So, American Idol, Ellen, things are happening. You're writing books. You called this earlier in the show. You said that this was a crash, not an accident. Why did you change my verbiage on that?
Yeah. So one thing that I do now, which will help explain the verbiage change, is I actually go to high schools and I speak and present, and I'll play some songs on the guitar as well from Lionheart throughout the story about the crash, and encourage the kids not to drive distracted. The presentation is actually called Choices Matter. So I talk about the different choices I made throughout my recovery to forgive the driver, which was crazy, and then also to work in therapy and to get stronger and try to go back to the audio school and find purpose in my tragedy. So all that to say, in the presentation, I'm trying to empower the kids to take responsibility behind the wheel. And so calling it an accident makes it a little bit less of a responsibility.
Sure.
When you're behind the wheel, it feels more like I'm, made a boo-boo. It's no good.
Yeah.
It's definitely a mistake, but it's human error. And there's a lot of human error crashes that still happen and kill or seriously injure people. And so if I can go around and encourage kids to see it as an opportunity for them to make a good choice and to be a better human, that's what I want to do. And it's funny because I'm actually back in my hometown, Knoxville, Tennessee, and I was going through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A, and I met a girl who had been at one of my school presentations.
Nice.
Literally, she starts crying in the line, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she recognized me and was like, you changed my life, man. It was amazing. And literally, it's one of the things I want to get back to so bad, because obviously school's closed, and this spring I was going to be doing like 7 weeks of school presentations.
Which is awesome.
Anyway, crash, not an accident.
Got it, man. So there's some responsibility behind that, and we don't want to just miss or glaze over that, right? Because if we do, then that doesn't help solve the next problem for the next person. So you're out there trying to make an impact on the next generation. I get that, and I love that. Now, you also you have a tattoo of a lion on your arm. I see a lion behind you over there. We got Lionheart as the book. What's up with this? What's up with this lion, man?
Strong brand.
No doubt.
No, I had a friend of mine actually drew the artwork. I thought, wait, this side. I thought when I woke up from the surgery, like, why are my legs not moving? And then the next thought was, I think I'm going to get a tattoo. And it was as specific as on my forearm, a lion, like putting it right there where it is. And I sat on the idea. I sat on the idea for weeks because I didn't understand why, or didn't want to get a tattoo for no reason. But it started becoming clear, like, the scar from the windshield that was bleeding out and I almost bled out on the road, was a reminder of the crash and what happened to me. And then the lion is my reminder of how to respond to what happens to you.
Oh, yeah.
So you can always choose how you respond. And that's my daily reminder right there.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful, right? We can't always necessarily control the things that happen in and around us, but how we respond to those, that's always within our control. That's powerful, man. I love it. Yeah. Dude, thanks. You're a pretty cool, chill, amazing light-filled dude, and I'm so glad that like we connected, and I look forward to even getting to know you further long past this this interview, man. I'm a firm believer.
The show is amazing. I'm very excited to be on it.
Hey, thank you, man. That's super awesome. So we're going to do one last thing, and then I'm going to let you go this morning. I'm going to put you up on top of a mountain real quick, all right? So you're on top of a mountain, and literally all of civilization is looking at you, and they're like cheering, right? David, 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 David. They're cheering for you, right? It's like, yeah, 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 yeah. And they walk over and they hand you a microphone, and you have 2 minutes to drop something on them, some practical application wisdom, something they can apply in their life today, this week, this month, this year. What are you going to tell them?
One of my favorite things to encourage people is not to see themselves as a victim. I know that the world is unfair. Trust me, I definitely experienced a second where there was a lot of bad hands being dealt. I mean, getting paralyzed, being told I would never walk again. It was easy to see myself as a victim. Obviously, I was the victim of a crash, but if I had stayed in that mindset, I would still be in that wheelchair. I would have defined my own future for myself. And again, your choices determine who you become. Your choices can help you become so much more than you ever thought. That I wouldn't be walking or have purpose that I found without it. And one of the books I read in the season when I was recovering and trying to get my legs working was Man's Search for Meaning by a guy named Viktor Frankl. So read my book and then go read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. He survived the Holocaust and wrote about finding purpose in suffering.
Right.
And that is so true. I've experienced it. I've lived it. Let this just be another reminder that you can find a meaning and a purpose even greater than what you had before through your suffering if you're willing to not be a victim and to put in the work.
That's what I love. Even greater. A meaning and a purpose even greater than before if you're willing to put in the work and realize it's all part of this big master plan. David, you've done a phenomenal job of that. You took this crash. They told you couldn't walk. You're like, you know what? I'm not only going to walk, I'm going to walk onto the stages of American Idol into households all around the world. I'm going to walk onto the stage with Ellen DeGeneres, the Ellen. I'm going to walk into the room with Katy Perry. I'm going to walk down the aisle with this beautiful, amazing superhuman. And I'm going to walk over to my publicist in my studio, and I'm going to make some music, and I'm going to send out a book that's going to change the world. And I'm going to walk on to rise and grind and make an impact in thousands of people's lives at 5:30 a.m. Dude, you are clearly a child of God, the God of the universe. He made you to be the best version of you that you could possibly be, and you're doing it, man, making powerful decisions that are going out there and making an impact in people's lives. I absolutely love you for it, bro. Thank you so much for being on Rise and Grind.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Dude, do me a favor and just hang there for 10 seconds, all right? Hang there for 10 seconds. I'm going to say goodbye to these guys. That was David Francisco. Dude, share it out. Follow him. Blow him up. Buy his book. Buy his music. Do all that stuff, dude. He's absolutely amazing. Hey, I hope you had a great week. I hope you enjoyed the series this week. I hope it was thought-provoking for you, and I hope it helped move your lives forward, because I need you to get out there and keep continuing to make amazing decisions that are going to make an impact in other people's lives. That's what that little dash is about, right? Born on date, expiration date. What kind of impact can you make in the middle? Listen, if you need more videos like this, you can go to glennlundy.com. That's right. You can go to glennlundy.com. Also, come back. We're going to do this again Monday morning, 5:30 a.m. on #Rise and Grind. Dude,
I'm a little kid.
you're a rock star, bro. I love it.
I feel that.
Isn't this a fun show? It's a fun show.